Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It was a breezy Thursday morning in Westminster, and the air buzzed not with promise, but with panic. Keir Starmer, the ever-measured leader of the Labour Party, had just concluded what was supposed to be a landmark press conference. Billed as the moment he would unveil his pragmatic and principled migration policy, it had all the ingredients for a turning point, except for one small issue. No one understood a word of it. Starmer, in his usual lawyer's cadence, spoke for 47 minutes about measured pathways to lawful migration alignment. Reporters squinted at their notes. One journalist from The Guardian whispered, "Did he just invent a new language?" Another from the Daily Mail simply fainted. Meanwhile, in a sleek London studio, Piers Morgan was watching it all unfold on 3 monitors, sipping a coffee as dark as his instinct for scandal. "Are you seeing this?" he bellowed to his production team. "The man just proposed a migration plan that includes interpretive diplomacy via regional nuance. That's not policy, that's a TED Talk gone wrong." Within hours, the Piers Morgan uncensored Twitter X account had gone nuclear. "Bombshell! Keir Starmer's migration plan is the biggest political flop since the Edstone. Even the migrants are confused. Watch tonight. #StarmerFlop. #MigrationMess." That evening, the show opened with signature drama. Flames on the screen, tense music, a slow zoom on Piers's face like he was about to interrogate a Bond villain. "Tonight," he growled, "we expose the policy disaster that has left the nation baffled, Brussels bemused, and Dover in chaos." He rolled the clip. Starmer droned on about cooperative bilateral frameworks respecting border fluidity, and the audience burst into laughter. "I've seen IKEA manuals that make more sense," Piers thundered, slapping the table. "What happened to just saying, 'We'll control our borders,' or even just yes and no? This isn't a strategy, it's a TED Talk dressed as a crisis." Then came the real bombshell. Piers brought on a whistleblower from within the Home Office, identity disguised, voice altered, cloaked like a Netflix informant. The source revealed that Starmer's team had quietly consulted a Scandinavian performance artist, yes, really, who believed migration flows could be managed using emotive storytelling and collaborative theater in border towns. Cue the headlines. Piers Morgan reveals Keir Starmer's migration theater strategy, complete disaster. By Friday morning, the internet was ablaze. Memes poured in. One showed Starmer on stage in a Shakespearean costume holding a skull. To deport or not to deport? That is the question. The most shared video on TikTok was a mashup of Starmer's speech set to elevator music, with subtitles reading, "Still loading." Meanwhile, inside Labour HQ, aides were scrambling. Starmer, blissfully unaware of the digital carnage, was rereading a Kierkegaard quote he planned to use in his next speech. But outside, voters were less philosophical. "I just want to know who's coming into the country," said one man outside a Wetherspoons. "Not whatever that was." A woman added, "My dog understood more of that than I did, and he's deaf." By Sunday, polls had shifted. Labour's lead had dropped 5 points. A new headline from The Times read, "Starmer's Migration Meltdown, Performance Art or Policy Fail?" In the end, it wasn't the complexity of the issue that doomed Starmer's proposal. It was the simplicity of the flop. Piers Morgan, grinning like a man who just caught a fish the size of Big Ben, summed it up best. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed the first immigration policy in British history that required subtitles, an art degree, and an interpretive dance troupe. Keir Starmer, take a bow." And somewhere, in a silent room full of unread briefing documents, Starmer adjusted his tie and whispered to himself, "It made sense to me."